Hey there, Ivo Remember McLean for Live once again. I wanna welcome everyone back for another movie review. And today I'm going to talk about is the ninth movie in the Fast and Furious franchise, and that's Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, which was released in July 13, 2019. And it's the ninth movie in the series, but this is not a direct sequel to Fast and Furious. It's actually set after The Fate of the Furious, which came out in 2017, and I reviewed that movie. I reviewed all of them, and now I'm gonna talk about the spin-off. And of course, back in 2015, Vin Diesel said that Fast and Furious series could got a spin-off of the series, and of course, in an interview with Variety, that the potential spin-off for the Fast and Furious series were in the early stage of development. So it came out. A spin-off of the series, and Vin Diesel, not Vin Diesel, Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham, they both returned for this movie, and they both produced this film. They were both producers of this film, and of course the writer was by David Leitch. And once again, Chris Morgan returns as a writer, and it actually wasn't such a huge success like Fast 5 or Furious 7, which did $1 million, actually $1 billion. Furious 7 did. Fast 5 still to me the best one. But Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, actually, which is a spin-off, it's a really good action-packed spy thriller film. It's a really good one, and I don't have this movie in my collection, but I did saw this movie in movie theater back in 2019, and I still have the ticket right here, and you can see Hobbs and Shaw. It was actually in 24 August 2019 at 8. I saw this film with my dearest friend from work. I saw it with him, and I really had a blast watching this film. It's an entertaining blockbuster, summer blockbuster film, and still a kick-ass film, but honestly, it's not in my top 5 favorite Fast and Furious films. And kinda I really like this film, but probably I think I like it a lot more than the Fast and Furious, the Fate of the Furious. I thought the Fate of the Furious. I'll probably put this movie above the Fate of the Furious. But I actually really like this film. I rewatched it again, and I like the film. And David Leitch, he uncreditedly directed a few scenes, a few shots for John Wick 2014, and then he did Deadpool 2. Now, Tim Miller, he directed Terminator Dark Fate. I rented on that film, and Tim Miller sucked. I don't like his direction. I don't like the guy. I don't like him. And when David Leitch came on board and he directed Deadpool 2, that time, watching Deadpool 2, I actually did change my mind about Deadpool, because the first one I hated it, but watching the sequel really was much better than the first one, and that's why I kind of changed my opinion. So I like now Deadpool 1, but Deadpool 2 I love to death because it's better sequel, because it's so great. And David Leitch is a fantastic director. He knows how to do that. He's a talented and really good director. And he directed this movie, Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. He directed Deadpool 2. He did uncredited direction with Chad Stahelski for John Wick. So he's a great director, and I hope that I see more work of him. I also hope that we do get a sequel someday on Hobbs and Shaw, which is also awesome. Now, now we also have a really good cast. Besides Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham reprise their famous roles. Dwayne Johnson returns as Luke Hobbs, former DSS agent and turned bounty hunter. He's actually been recruited and hired by CIA to find a deadly virus called Snowflake. and his diplomatic service. Um, um, diplomatic security service agent, DSS, and turned to bounty hunter. That's what he does best. And Dwayne Johnson, he was a badass in this movie as The Rock. I love the guy, and I really enjoyed this film a lot. And this is the 5th time Dwayne Johnson returns with his famous role as Luke Hobbs from 2011 when he did Fast 5. And I really enjoy this film. Now, Tyrese Gibson, like I said in my previous entry, Tyrese Gibson attacked Dwayne Johnson, blaming him that his movie F9 or Fast and Furious 9 has been delayed. He blamed him. Dwayne Johnson did not get along with Vin Diesel. I think that Dwayne Johnson stated something that upset Vin Diesel, and they did not get along. But then I read that Vin Diesel, I think he forgave him and he tried to get him back in the series. But Dwayne Johnson stated he's not gonna play this character anymore. This was actually the fifth time, and the last time he also played this movie. And it was really sad, to see him go. I would like to see a sequel someday, but I don't think that we won't see a sequel anyway. But yeah, it was really great to see those two characters once again back. And of course, Jason Statham returns as Deckard Shaw, now a good guy turned from bad to good guy, a former Black Ops and former MI6 agent who's also been hired by CIA in order to get the snowflake virus, deadly virus snowflake back. And it turns out that his sister, that was never mentioned in previous entry in Furious 7 and Furious 6, Furious 7, and of course The Fate of the Furious was never mentioned that Deckard Shaw has a sister. Vanessa Kirby plays, she plays Hattie Shaw, MI6 agent, now rogue agent on a run. And because a CIA agent, he tells Deckard Shaw about his sister, estranged sister Hattie Shaw. Deckard decides to accept the job because they're both because Luke Hobbs is in Los Angeles while Deckard he's in London. They go to find informations about this guy, what's called from both informants about this deadly virus snowflake, and of course they both go together in London, which I read that they actually filmed Glasgow in Scotland to recreate London. So they go in London, they both meet each other, and they both find out they hate each other. And they actually both hate each other, and they don't want to work along. Deckard Shaw and Luke Hobbs, they have a huge history from Furious 7 and Fast and The Fate of the Furious, and now they actually the third time together. They reunited the third time together, and of course they because it's actually real national security, and because this deadly virus has to get brought back, and everything points out that Hattie Shaw, she stole the virus and she's on the run. She's now she killed her own crew, and she's now on the run, and Luke Hobbs has to get her back because he's a bounty hunter. But actually in the open scene we see a team of MI6. They try to get back a deadly virus called Snowflake. It's a deadly virus, and while they try to recruit and to get the virus, this guy played by Idris Elba, I forgot. I tried to find the guy. Brixton. Idris Elba. He's Brixton. He's a genetically enhanced working agent for Ethan, former MI6 field agent. He's like cyber genetically enhanced enhanced assassin, and he goes and kills everyone in MI6 except he misses Letty. She escapes. She escapes and she steals the virus, and she implanted the virus in herself. I don't know why the fuck she did that, but she implanted the virus in herself, and I think she has only 64 hours, I think, to live, in order that the virus spreads, kills her, and then goes in an air and kills entire population. And this deadly virus has to get back in the right hands that belongs to CIA. And of course now, because they now Brixton and his men are making all the tracks, and they framed Hattie for treason and for a thief that she stole the deadly virus, and she killed her own crew, and she's now a rogue agent on a run, and she's blamed for the murders that she didn't do it. She had to save the virus. And this is where Hobbs and Shaw show up. And Luke Hobbs has one mission to catch Hattie, and he has no idea that she's actually Deckard's sister. And when Deckard, finds out that it's actually his sister, he goes in an apartment, and also 4 guys, from Eton, they're actually Etion, they're actually a terrorist, a cyber terrorists, and they are looking for Hattie. And in the apartment, the 4 guys shows up, 4 assassins, and of course, Jason Statham goes and kicks everyone's ass. One of the henchmen that fights Jason Statham is Daniel Bernhardt from The Matrix Reloaded, from John Wick, from Bloodsport 2, 3, and that garbage movie 4. And he's also in this movie who fights off Jason Statham. Daniel Bernhardt has a small role in this movie. And there's also a scene when we actually met Hattie and Luke Hobbs. And Luke Hobbs goes, and there's a great fight scene, a great choreographed. And Vanessa Kirby did a great job fighting off Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson goes, kicks her ass, he handcuffs her, and he grabs her with one arm, which is awesome scene. So back in the headquarters, in MI6 headquarters, of course they both go, and of course we find out that Hattie is actually a sister of she's actually a sister of Deckard. And I love when she goes and she kicks the agent, pieces, steals the weapon, the gun, and of course that time Dwayne Johnson grabs his Smith & Wesson model, the revolver, and points at her. She points at him. Deckard shows up and says, and he points at Dwayne Johnson, says, let her go. And he says, your girlfriend is not going anywhere. And says, and Hattie says, first it was disgusting, and says, it's my sister. Once again the Tango and Cash routine. Because Tango and Cash was almost the same, when Catherine Kiki goes and takes a massage on Kurt Russell at the time, when Sylvester Stallone jumps, and it's this real great job, real job Cash, and says, your girlfriend, my sister, what? My sister, almost the same routine, and says it's my sister, and he goes, I love when Dan Johnson says the girlfriend doesn't go anywhere. There's a whole team of Etion team, assassin shows up, breaks the windows, they grab Hattie, knocks her down, and through the rope, they're like bungee jumping, they slide down, only in Jackie Chan movies you can see that. And Dwayne Johnson grabs the rope, and says they'll go on 3 and jumps, and Jason Statham said, no, that's what to do. And he goes to the elevator, presses the elevator, and Dwayne Johnson, like a badass, he jumps off the 3,000, probably 800 feet below the building, jumps the guy, shoots the guy, goes and swings the guy, knocks him in the elevator, with Jason Statham, and jumps another guy, kicks the guy, in the elevator, jumps on it, and there's a great fight scene, and it's a scene when Dwayne Johnson tries to punch Idris Elba, but Idris Elba blocks, he covers and goes and kicks the guy's ass, and Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham grabs the gun, shoots the bad guys, and Hattie also gets escaped, and she tries to escape, and there's a car chase scene, and of course Dwayne Johnson, and of course Jason Statham says, come with me, and Dwayne Johnson says, we're not going, he says, we're all going, or no one, and all 3 they go in the car. I think it was a McLaren Ford car. They go with the McLaren Ford with the car, they try to escape, and Idris Elba is on a motorcycle, chases them, which is awesome, he goes and chases them, and it was just awesome, badass scene, he goes and chases them, and he goes and chases them, which was awesome scene, and I tried to find out how the hell did Idris Elba even lose all 3 of them. It's because in the another one-way street, there's a London bus shows up, and Idris Elba goes and crashes right in the motorcycle in the bus, and falls off the bus, makes a big hole of the bus, destroys the motorcycle, and lands on the floor, gets pissed. And that will be for real. I don't think he won't even stand. He will probably go next, will be emergency hospital. That will be for real. But a great stunt scene. So now, because Hobbs and Shaw, they're both now fugitives with Hattie, in order to find out, to get the cure. They actually go to Moscow, to Russia, and they first find this guy, professor, in which they try to get those virus out, of Hattie, and he tells that there's two stuff that you can do, 2 ways. One way is that you kill her, you burn her to ashes, which of course they both say no, that's not an option. And the other one is to get the device, the hacking, the device that you can take the virus out of her. And that device only has this Etion facility, in which it's impossible to get in it because you get killed. And there's only that device that can take the virus out of her. So they make a plan. They go to the Moscow and with the fake passports. And I love the scene when Dwayne Johnson gets arrested on an airport, in which Shaw and Hattie, they go both together. They actually go on the airplane, and somehow Luke Hobbs managed to get on the plane, to Russia. And when Hattie, she starts sleeping, they have a conversation. They start fighting each other. And Kevin Hart from CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, 2016, which he co-worked with Dwayne Johnson. He's on the plane. He's Air Marshal. I think was Dinkley. He was Dinkley. He was Air Marshal Dinkley, and who talks to them, and he became like third wheel or something. They go to Russia, and Deckard meets this girl. She's actually a thief. She's a high profile thief and a lover of Deckard. She's his girlfriend, Madame M, played by Isa Gonzalez. She's Madame M. And in order that they will both go, in the headquarters of Etion facility, which is in Chernobyl in Ukraine, So Hattie gets arrested. She goes on the facility, and Madame M goes and she goes and brings to Brixton, because she's a high thief profile. She works for money, and there's a scene when Deckard and Shaw, they're both in an airplane, and they both jump off the airplane, and Shaw ejects himself first, and then of course Hobbs goes and ejects himself. They both landed in the facility, which is full of nuclear waste, plants of nuclear plants in it. They go to Ukraine, to those to Etion facility, and they get in. They'll find those doors, and they go, and like Shao goes and kicks a lot of ass. Like there's 6-8 guys, he kicks all of them. I don't think that will be realistic, that he will kick so many, not even tear a sweat. But I think that Jason Statham did a really great fighting sequences. I still think when he did the Transporter, the first two movies, he did a much better job showing more martial arts skills than this movie, but that's just me. And there's this guy that Dwayne Johnson has only one guy, a mechanic, goes and punches him and puts his face, while Deckard has to fight every guy, then puts them to find the open, and they go in the facility, they both arrested, they both go to tight, to this wheelchair, to this chair, and they have like those electric shocks, which is awesome. But of course, that time, that time Hattie, she escapes with a professor. She escapes, she goes and kicks those two guys. She grabs the guy with her legs, which is so sexy. She's such a fucking babe. She grabs with her legs. The guy stabs her with her legs, stabs her in the neck with that shot. She cuts her loose, stabs the guy, and she kicks the guy in the stomach. She goes, flips inside, and both the guys fall down, and she steals the device. And because now Hobbs and Shaw, they're both, tortured, they both say, we're both gonna kill everyone. And she goes and saves them. And there's a fight scene, and all three escapes the device is now demolished. So, because they have nowhere to run, because Braxton is gonna find them everywhere. Brixton or Braxton, he's gonna find everywhere. So, the last place that Hobbs wants to go is now go back home to an island, Samoa. That was actually Hawaii, was the filming location for the Samoa Island, and of course I wrote down it was Kau, Hawaii, for Samoa Island. He goes back to his home, and WV superstar Roman Reigns is in this movie, and he plays the brother Mateo of Luke Hobbs, and of course Cliff Curtis from Collateral Damage is in this movie. He's also his brother who Hobbs abandoned him 25 years ago. They have a fight. They actually, they have a huge argument, but their mom demands that they work together. So because his brother is actually Hobbs' brother is actually a mechanic, and Hobbs asked him, for the sister that he should build back the fix. He goes and fix this device and build everything back, and yeah, so that's how actually because their mama insists that they work together, so Cliff Curtis decides to help Hobbs and Shaw and Hattie to fix this device, to get those wires out of her. In 33 minutes, she has to get those wires back or she dies, and everyone will die. It's like the end of the world with that deadly virus floating around, the air, and everyone's gonna die. So they go in the fight scene. They actually go, they have a fight scene, and they decide to hack into their weapons so that the weapons will be disabled. All weapons will be disabled. They put the fences around, and they're gonna defend because they have no weapons. They're gonna defend with their fists and fight those assassins. While the device is working, because Samoa Joe, this guy Cliff Curtis, he fixed the device. He puts her on Hattie, And there's also a posters. You have like 4 posters there, which is one is Beverly Hills Cop poster, the other one is 48 Hours poster. Both Eddie Murphy was in it. The other is from Sylvester Stallone's Cobra, and the other one is Little Weapon 3 poster, which is very surprisingly when Hattie she's working, to disable the guns. And then you have a great fight scenes on the Samoa Island, which everyone fights against those mercenaries, and of course Idris Elba, who plays Braxton, somehow managed to kidnap Hattie and puts her in the helicopter, and Hobbs and Shaw, they'll go after him, in the helicopter. They and other cars, other vehicles, they actually don't have that much weight, so they hooked each other to stop the helicopter. The helicopter, of course, with the cars, landed off the cliff. But miraculously, they all survived. All 4 or 5 survives. Another Braxton's henchman survives. Braxton, Idris Elba, of course, Hattie and Hobbs and Shaw, they survive. Which that's actually pure fiction. When they actually landed in the helicopter and the car off the cliff, no one will survive, and that would be for real. So so both of them decide to fight off Braxton. The end, they defeated him. Braxton ordered the guy to shoot Hattie. Hattie goes and she goes, and kicks the guy's ass. And of course on the end, Wade Johnson, he uses his head, puts the guy in the head, and of course Jason Statham goes and punches the guy. They defeat him. And then, of course, the director of it, Chapman, he goes and kills him. He turns Braxton offline and tells, and gives a warning that to Hobbs that if he wants a war, then he's gonna get a war. They have a history together, and then of course the movie. Then of course now all 3 that they saved. Hattie is saved. The virus is out. She's saved. And they all survived. And that time, they Hobbs and not Hobbs, Shaw and Hattie, they go in the prison, visit their mom, Gwen. They go to visit her in the prison, and they were planning to break her out, which is a funny scene. And of course, Hobbs brings his daughter to Samoa Island so that she meets all his family, his estranged brothers and his mom, and of course then the movie ends until we see a final scene with Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds, I think he's actually the guy behind the computer that he provided the voice for the Theon director, which was voiced by Ryan Reynolds. He voiced the Theon director. Also, Keanu Reeves was potential, to be back in 2018, that he will be back for the film, but that didn't happen because at the time he was busy doing John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. And I saw both of them. I saw John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, and I saw Hobbs and Shaw in movie theater. Both of them I saw in movie theater. I saw that movie in May 22, 2019 in movie theater. This one I saw 24 August at 8, 2019, and I had a blast that time watching it. And this is the film that I don't have in my collection. That time I tried to get the DVD and Blu-ray, but it was all sold out, and later I didn't even, later I didn't even watch that I will see anything that I would actually buy it. It would never cross my mind. But maybe one day down the road I would like to get the Blu-ray of Hobbs and Shaw in my collection, one day in a row. But yeah, the cast now, that's the facts, which was released in summer. It was a blockbuster, in my opinion, summer. The budget cost for this movie $200 million. Most of the scenes, the action scenes, which I didn't talk about, were actually practical done. I didn't see any CGI in the film. There were a few, I think they used a little CGI for the slow motion scenes, the fight scene with Idris Elba and Dwayne Johnson, or on the cliff scene between Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson. There were kind of a few slow motion scenes, so there were a few slow motion explosion scenes. Or there is a scene, the action scene, when one of the henchmen throws a grenade and at his apartment, and Jason Statham jumps and puts the pin in it, which is a really great scene. But the practical effects, I didn't see that much CGI in the film. I think this movie was the more practical done. Most of the action sequences, they look more practical done, than CGI, just like they did in Fast 5. And Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw is a really good spin-off, a really good movie. I also love the soundtrack, Next Level by Aston Wild, which I'll put in my in the link. I'll put in my video the link in it. Next Level, Aston Wild, which is that scene when Hattie, she puts the hood on herself and she walks like through the night scenes on the street. And that time when Hobbs goes and tries to find her, he says, she stole the virus, killed her team, and we see that's the song, I'm on the next level, and it's like a woman's voice, but it's a great soundtrack. So yes, Next Level, Ashton Wild, good plot, good story, great story, about this virus, snowflake, deadly virus. Which was also which was actually a deadly virus, which had implanted the deadly virus in herself. Also, Roman Reigns, who plays the brother of Luke Hobbs, him and Dwayne Johnson are not brothers; they're actually cousins. Yes, they're both cousins, which that was awesome. But I do wish that Roman Reigns will have much to do in the film. He doesn't have any lines. He doesn't even talk. He is in the screen time. But why the fuck they did not let him to speak in it? Why he was not allowed to have a dialogue or at least a few lines? He could say a few lines. I don't know why was not Roman Reigns the main star in the film, because he could have been. But that's just personal me. Another thing besides Roman Reigns, I have a problem that Eiza Gonzalez as Madame M. I wish that she would have she's on a poster, but why she wasn't that much in the film? She's barely one scene in the film, then she disappears through the whole movie. I wish she would be more in the film. That's my two least problems in the film. The rest of the cast. Ryan Reynolds, he's in this movie. He reunited, I think it was in 2021. He reunited with Dwayne Johnson. They did Red Notice, which I enjoyed it for Netflix. They did that with the film. I think it was an action movie about thieves, which I really enjoyed that film. Gal Gadot from Fast and Furious, Fast 5 and Furious 6, in all 3 installments, she also reunited with Dwayne Johnson, which was awesome. Ryan Reynolds, he also reunited with Dwayne Johnson once again, so that was awesome scene. The movie has a few humor, so that's still good sign in the movie. And yeah, and like I said, the action sequences work very well. It's fast paced, even for 2 hours. It's still fast paced. It's not boring. It has tons of good soundtracks, but definitely Next Level is my favorite one, which I enjoyed that. David Leitch started directing this movie in April 2018. Filming began in September 2018, lasted through January 2019, was released over the summer, July 13. In 2019 in the US in a movie theater. I don't remember if this movie was in IMAX. I don't think it was in IMAX. but I saw this movie in movie theater. And funny is that this is the only Fast and Furious movie I saw in movie theater. I have not seen none of the sequels in movie theater, none of the Fast and Furious. This is the only one I saw in movie theater. I still have the ticket, saved right here. Hobbs and Shaw. You can see that Hobbs and Shaw. So that was awesome. Also, story was Chris Morgan, writer Chris Morgan, Drew Pearce, which they did a good job. It has a humor, tons of action. The budget cost $200 million. I think it was even more expensive than Fast 5. Opening weekend in Canada, US and Canada earned $60 million. It grossed in US and Canada $173 million during the weekend, and worldwide it made $759 million, which was very successful. It wasn't actually a flop. It was very successful film. Now Vanessa Kirby as Hattie Shaw as MI6 agent, now Rogue Agent. She was hot babe. She did a great job. I enjoy her. Dwayne Johnson did a fantastic job as Luke Hobbs, and so did Jason Statham as Deckard Shaw. They both did great job. Another problem I have, they don't mention Owen Shaw in this movie at all. I wish that Luke Evans would be this movie, but he isn't. So they don't mention him at all. That's another problem I have. I wish that Owen Shaw would be at least mentioned. Helen Mirren also returns for this movie. She has a few scenes in the film, so that's awesome. Ryan Reynolds plays also CIA agent Victor Locke, and he also provided the voice for the director of Eton. Idris Elba did a great job as the bad guy villain in this movie, as Braxton. The cast did a great job. You have a great cast that I enjoy. And it also was a spin-off of this movie. But yeah, like I said, Glasgow was used to create in London. They filmed in Scotland. The director David Leitch really is a talented director. He did a great job directing this movie. The one who did the music score did a good job. And it wasn't like about the family. It was kind of family. It still was a badass film. It still has tons of good practical scenes, great stunt teams that, like when Dwayne Johnson grabs on the rope and slides down the rope without any safety or without any gloves in it. You have to have gloves at least. Otherwise, you're gonna you actually go into left. You're actually going to you're actually going to fall off the building to the death. Because your hands will start burning and will stink, and you were gonna let go the rope and you're gonna kill yourself. And I don't know how they did that. Maybe it was CGI. I don't know. I did not research. But they actually, when Dwayne Johnson dropped himself without any safety, that was kind of really dangerous stunt, but really ballsy. Only in Jackie Chan movies they do that, without any safety, that you drop yourself, in the down the rope, the bungee jumping, and he dropped himself, that was really ballsy that Dwayne Johnson did. But to me, Dwayne Johnson is the best in the film. Also, the actress who plays his daughter, Sam, Eliana Sua, as Sam Hobbs. I thought that she's the same actress that she was in Furious 7 and The Fate of Furious, but she wasn't. So it was a different actress. I don't know why. I tried to find the original actress from Furious 7, but I couldn't find her on IMDb. I did not look that much. But yeah, for 2019, definitely one of the best movies in 2019. Still John Wick Chapter 3, Parabalance, the best one. But I really had fun, that time watching the film. And also my dad, he drank all my booze that time, which I was upset. But that happens. But that's my movie review on Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. It was a really good, entertaining movie. Thanks for watching and take care. Have a good day. This is Sunday. Yes, I saw this movie Saturday, but have a good day. And bye-bye. I'm out. Peace.